Thank you, Brigitte and Glenn, again for starting off the meeting. It's always good to have something going on while people are signing in, and you can't beat music. Thank you. Good afternoon, Rotarians and guests. This is the Rotary Club of Toronto. I'm John Fortney, the club's president. And it's my pleasure to welcome you to our virtual meeting today. After the invocation and recognition of traditional lands, please stand by for the playing of the national anthem and the loyal toast. At this time, I would like to recognize that we are on the traditional lands of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. Our program today centers around young people. We hope for guidance to do the very best we can as we strive to lead them on their path. We ask for special blessings on those who give of their time to work one-on-one with our youth. We humbly ask that children the world over be kept safe from harm and have the opportunity to learn and grow in a safe and healthy environment. Give thanks for this opportunity to come together today in Rotary Fellowship. Thank you. Now, our national anthem. If you'd like to, please stand. National Anthem, Loyal Toast. Ladies and gentlemen, Her Majesty the Queen. Thank you, Glenn and Brigitte. Rotarians and guests, it is now my pleasure to introduce our head table. I am pleased to have the following with me today. Mark Stanowski, a Rotarian since 2001, our classification, nonprofit. Mark is the Executive Director of Operation Springboard and is our Let's Be Personal speaker for today. Sylvia Geist, Rotarian since 2004, classification, psychology. She is the clinical psychologist in private practice, and a member of our program committee. CJ Shaw, a Rotarian with our club since 2010 and the Don Valley since 2001. Classification, manufacturing. He is the founder of Foamco Industries Corp and is a member of our International Services Committee. Maureen Bird, Rotarian since 1996. Former classification, financial advisor, office manager. She is retired. She's a Voice Bulletin chief editor and a member of our International Service Committee. Neil Phillips, a Rotarian since 1998, great year. Classification, logistics management. He is president of DGN Marketing Services Limited, a past club president and past district governor, and he's host to our guest speaker, who is Amanda Pick, who will be more formally introduced shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, our head table. For our virtual meetings, we do not have an official monitor to introduce the visiting guests and Rotarians, so I will do the honors. I don't see any visiting Rotarians. I think Alan Eli is visiting us again, which I haven't seen since Christmas. And we do have some Rotaractors, I believe. To our visiting Rotarians, thank you for choosing our club for your makeup. We hope that you enjoy the meeting. To all of our guests, welcome to our virtual meeting today. And please feel free to contact the office and find out how you may be able to make a difference by joining us. Rotarians, please welcome our visitors in the tradition of our great club. Announcements. Number one, you may already know this, but in case you do not, you should be aware that these virtual Rotary meetings, and that if your video camera is on, you will be showing up on YouTube or Google Meet recordings for live streaming. If you do not want to appear, please turn off your video. We will not be able to edit you out later. Thank you. For our members, we will not be having a transition talk at the end of today's meeting, and we will start the talks up again in the coming weeks. Now, it's time for our Let's Be Personal speaker, and it is my pleasure to pass it over to Marg Stanowski. Marg?
Thanks so much, President John. Really great to be here. So, I grew up in Toronto, and despite being accepted at University of Toronto, I attended Windsor University in 1970 for their acclaimed social work program at the time. At 22, I became a federal parole officer, which is a traditionally male-dominated profession. No educational training could have prepared me for the realities of taking on a caseload of 45 penitentiary men who had committed terrible crimes of violence, fraud, and robbery. I later became a correctional center superintendent and also completed specialized prison training to advance my career path. But I eventually opted for community work that could prevent youth from destructive and criminal lifestyles. Apart from teaching law and security and heading up Volunteer Ontario, my best career years remain as Springboard's executive director, where I have contributed in some small ways to influencing public policy and systemic reform in the criminal and social justice systems. Bert Steenberg, who I've known since 1982 from our respective correctional work, introduced me to this club, and I joined in 2001. Since then, I've witnessed the influence our club has had in such initiatives as the Pine River Institute for drug-addicted teens, the completion of several international sweat equity projects, and the impact of St. Michael's Hospital and the Sherburne Health Center's work with homeless populations. I've also been honored to help establish our Women's Initiative Committee 17 years ago, whose work resulted in the opening of one of Toronto's first transitional homes for girls who have been sexually trafficked. My Rotary membership has truly enabled me to give back to our community in ways I did not think possible. So, John, back to you.
Thank you so much, Marg. Again, every week I get blown away. I really love these talks, and you know, when we first started them, I thought, oh, this is going to be a lot. And every week we just get to know something more about our members, and it's always fascinating. And members like you in the past who have also contributed so much to our club, it's just great to get to know everyone even better. And thank you so much. Any other members wish to get on the list to Let's Be Personal, please contact Don Bell. We'd love to hear about all of you. Up next, I have Sylvia Geist with me. She would like a moment of your time. Sylvia?
Thanks, President John. Enough is enough. Stop racism. Recent events have demonstrated that racism is still very much alive and is continuing to raise its ugly head. Fear, abuse of power, and injustice leads to the suffering of many. On January the 22nd, 29th, and February the 5th, our club is taking action to confront the power of prejudice and discrimination by increasing awareness and advocating for change. We have brought together talented speakers who are committed to bring about this change and making a difference. What we ask of you is to spread the word about this significant three-part series. You will receive several email communications over the next several weeks. Share them as often as possible with your friends and interested organizations and ask them to do the same. Let's get as many people as possible from a variety of backgrounds to be our online audiences. Now, some specifics. A message from Mayor John Tory will introduce the series next Friday. On January the 27th, storytelling about lived experiences of racism today. Kenya Singh, a social activist lawyer. Stacia Loft, Deputy Grand Chief, Association of Iroquois and Allied Indians. Imran Amil, Global Leader in Imaging Technologies. Our host, Jeffrey Johnson. On January the 29th, Exploring Systemic Racism Today and Unconscious Bias. Gail Nathanson, Executive Director, Canadian Israel Jewish Association. Dahabo Ahmed Omers, Executive Director, Black North Initiative. Host, yours truly. February the 5th, a call to action. What can we do? Blake Goldring, philanthropist, entrepreneur. Michael Thompson, Deputy Mayor, City Councillor. Zabine Hiriji and Agapi Gesesi, City Report 2020 Advisory Board members. Nigella and Wayne Herbu. Our host, Peter Stevenson. Enough is enough. Stop racism. Join us in our commitment and effort. To the program committee, all the amazing Rotarians and Rotaractors who made this series a reality, thank you very much. Back to you, President John.
Thank you, Sylvia. Well, you and your team and Jeffrey have done just an extraordinary, and this is going to be really exciting times. As I said before, everyone, please pass this around. And we're getting responses literally from around the world. I can't tell you enough. This has blown up on social media, and we should be very proud of this team for doing this. And I can't wait to see how it turns out and where we go from here. Because once they've started the floor plan, we now have to continue this work. All right. Thank you, Sylvia. Now it's my pleasure to share a very special moment with you. We are pleased to announce that Rotary International has awarded major donor recognition to our member, CJ Shaw, of whom we are very proud. This award is granted to members who have contributed a minimum of US $10,000 to the Rotary Foundation. The International Service Committee, through members CJ and Maureen Bird, have been working with Rotary Club of Bombay Airport on 2 global grants to provide new toilets for girls at the rural Mumbai schools. The first grant was for $38,000 US and updated facilities at 4 schools. CJ and Maureen visited 2 of the schools in November of 2018. The second grant, with a value of US $87,000, has just been approved for facilities at 10 more schools. These 2 grants involve financial contributions from 18 Rotary clubs and many individuals. CJ's contributions to the grants totaled well over $10,000 US. CJ has also been active in coordinating and raising donations for a few projects in Kenya and Uganda with the support of the International Service Committee. We are pleased to acknowledge CJ's commitment to making a difference. Everybody, please acknowledge CJ Shaw. We are so proud of you. CJ, do you have a few words for us?
Yes, President John and fellow Rotarians, it was a pleasant surprise to learn that I was recognized as a major donor by RI and the Rotary Foundation. Nevertheless, my family and I are very thrilled to receive the beautiful crystal and the 3 Rotary pins, which people notice anywhere in the world when you are wearing them. I would like to thank all the members of the International Service Committee who supported so many of the water and sanitation projects, not only in India, but also in Kenya and Uganda. It has made a huge difference to the lives of many, many vulnerable, destitute children in the areas where the assistance of Rotary was most needed. I have been a Rotarian for the last 20 years and decided to move to the Rotary Club of Toronto 10 years ago. I have never looked back. I have enjoyed so much teamwork and support of the members and the board of this great club. The world needs a club like ours to carry on the good work, which makes a difference to the lives of thousands, if not many, not millions. Please keep safe and healthy. Thank you. Back to you, John, President John, back to you.
You're most welcome, CJ. Thank you again. And you know, it just also goes to show you that we take so much for granted. To think something as basic as water, sanitation, toilets, it just makes a whole difference in the other parts of the world. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're so proud of you. It's now time for our guest speaker. And I would like to pass things over to our past president, Neil. Over to you, Neil.
Thank you, President John. We're all familiar with the Amber Alert, that haunting buzz on our phones, warning us police believe a missing child is in imminent danger. Sadly, those alerts are just a tiny chapter in a much bigger story of missing children across Canada. Amanda Pick, CEO of the Missing Children Society of Canada, is joining us today, and she's going to give us an insider's look at who goes missing and why, and explain how each one of us can contribute to the safety of young people in our country. Amanda has been with MCSC for more than a decade, where she has helped take the organization from one that relied on posters to find a missing child to one that embraces technology to bring that child to safety. And spoiler alert, there are some happy endings. Amanda, welcome to our club.
Thank you very much. I'm grateful to have time with you and to be able to share the work of our organization, and most importantly, to be able to have you have a greater understanding. I want to leave our time together today with you understanding why children go missing, how many children go missing, why it's important to find them as fast as possible, and how you can help protect children in your community. Next, please. So our organization is the Missing Children Society of Canada, and we have been serving children and families nationwide for the last 34 years. MCSC has provided unique and comprehensive programming to protect children, support families, and partner with police. The threat of exposure to high-risk activities increases significantly the longer a child is missing. Our mandate is to help find missing children faster and reduce the risk of victimization by returning them to a safe environment. Next. I have to say that when I came to the organization just over 11 years ago, I shared some common beliefs that I think many of you and many people in my community still believe, which is missing children. When we think of a missing child, we think of a child that we hear about through an Amber Alert. And last year there was less than 12 Amber Alerts. So I didn't have a clear understanding of who a missing child was, how they go missing, and how many missing children are in Canada. So how do children go missing beyond what many of us identify as the stranger abduction, the child who goes missing because a stranger has abducted them? Well, missing children go missing because they've run away. They have been lured away, or they're lost, injured, they're abandoned. Next. We definitely, I think, understand that children are abducted by family members, and I certainly know that many of you will recall in the last couple of years where we've had tragic endings when a child has been abducted by a family member. And other known individuals to children abduct them as well. Next. I have to tell you, every single time I see this number, I still am surprised. And again, this is what I do every single day. I get to stand with amazing people in my organization and across the country to make a difference in protecting children and working to make sure they don't go missing. But I can only imagine what all your faces look like right now, because it really is a face of surprise. In 2019, RCMP national statistics from the National Center for Missing Person and Unidentified Remains had reports of over 40,000 children reported missing in our country. And when we talk about how children go missing, as we just did, you'll see some of the percentages around missing. And again, you know, I'm honest in sharing that I made some assumptions once I started to learn more about how children went missing and the real need to find them right away. I assumed that when a child went missing because they'd run away, that eventually they'd come back, and perhaps there wasn't a need to find them as quickly as possible as it relates to, say, an abduction. But you'll learn that there is. Next. How many children, and I know most of the people on this call in our time today, many of you live in Ontario, and so I thought it was important to share the numbers and statistics from Ontario. You'll see the one that really stands out. And again, it goes to, I think, what we commonly think about missing children, which is stranger abductions. And then you see that this is a significant number. Next. Well, you know, in listening to your opening, John, when you shared the words of wanting to protect children and keep them safe, it's clear that we're already, you know, kindred spirits, and we all feel the same. And I think arguably you'd ask any Canadian, they will say this, that one child who is missing is too many. That a missing child, when they go missing from a safe environment, is at risk. And that our want to be able to protect children can create an opportunity that ensures that there are no missing children, but we will need to work together in order to make that happen. Next. I have to tell you that when I started to really understand the spectrum of risk, what a child faces in 2021 when they are missing from a safe environment, there was a moment of clarity that looked like if we could come together to find missing children faster, it uniquely changes how children experience risk and a greater understanding of who a missing child is and what happens to them when they're missing from a safe environment. I know you'll feel the same way as I do. Next. Again, I'm going to go back to the idea that we commonly believe the only missing children in Canada are really the ones we hear about as a result of stranger abduction, and that number of less than 12 12 Amber Alerts really drives home that sense of understanding that we need to know what faces our children. From a risk perspective, we actually hear about missing children in a very different way. Children have been missing from a safe environment in a very different way every day. When we talk about children who are victims of exploitation, human trafficking, children who are participating in and have been lured into gangs and behavior that really affects who they are and the experiences they have, those children are missing from a safe environment. And so if we can find them, we will be able to reduce the risk. Next. Here are the challenges and the experience that come from missing and the risks that are faced. So when you look at that number that we talked about as it relates to endangered runaways, and again, some of those common beliefs that, well, when a child runs away, they'll come back. Even if they're gone for an hour or 24 hours or a week, they'll be the same when we find them. That's simply not the case. As you can see, they end up being in positions where they're exploited for many reasons. And in fact, many of the reasons that they are exploited is because they've been lured. And the longer they're away, the more exposure and the more experience they'll have. Next. We wanted to be able to not only continue to find missing children who have been missing for a significant period of time, but we wanted to be part of the front line response. As soon as a child goes missing, we wanted to be able to provide at our organization a way for community members to join us, to join the police, and be ready to understand who's missing, ready to respond, and ready to receive information that would allow us to be able to immediately bring that child back to safety. One of the things that we understand very clearly is that, simply put, a missing child is a vulnerable child in need of protection, no matter how long they're missing for. And in fact, emerging evidence suggests that a missing child is believed to be at risk from child exploitation, irrespective of the length of time they're away from home or a caring environment. And our partners at the International Center for Missing and Exploited Children provided that research for us. So, technology. We receive information at a speed and rate that is actually mind-boggling. Every second we can receive information. and we're able to react to that information. And so we wanted to partner and have the assistance and with technology companies to be able to move this opportunity forward in collaboration with police and you, the community. And so we've been working in many different ways, using many different technology opportunities to be able to create the MCSC Child Search Network. And our partners at Esri Canada and Microsoft built this network. And we are now excited as we are going to be able to ask all of you to join and participate through the Child Search Network. Next. We have a gap of response. And when Neil spoke of the Amber Alert program, and when I've talked about the power and the recognition that we all understand Amber Alert system is, and then we go to what about all the children that I've just highlighted? What about all those other missing children? How do you find out about them? You know, police in Canada face increasing challenges to find missing and exploited children and youth. They require new resources and supports in their response, and as technology advances, so do opportunities for predators to reach innocent victims through online channels that are increasingly result in child abuse. And so currently there is no national network available to police beyond the Amber Alert system. And to distribute missing and exploited children information, thereby creating a gap of response. Police recognized that an additional technology network is required to enable us to share information and them to share information directly to you so that you could make a difference. And so the Child Search Network is the system that's going to allow us to do that. You know, you talk about how we're at a moment in time of reckoning as it relates to how we do things together and how we do things differently. And our Child Search Network is going to provide that opportunity to do things differently, to meet children where they're at most risk, to find them and to protect them. Next. So we've been working with our police partners nationally through the Canadian Association of Chiefs of Police for many, many years as it relates to building out this system, and you know, over 10 years as it relates to harnessing technology, having it sustainable and scalable and ready to meet this challenge. And in August of 2020, the Canadian Association of Chiefs of Police identified through their membership, which is inclusive of police partners nationwide, MCSC's Child Search Network as the complementary tool and national system to be used in the search for missing children in cases that don't meet the Amber Alert criteria. But technology, intent, and collaboration is the foundation. How this really works is you. How we protect children completely relies on engaging each Canadian community to community across the country. Next. So, I hope that I have given you a sense of why it's important to find missing children faster, who a missing child is, and how we can come together in a unique way. And so, there is a call to action right now, and that is join us in the Child Search Network through MCSC Rescue. And here's what your volunteer contribution of joining us will allow you to do. Next. When I talk about the ability to understand what child's missing right now in your community, you'll be able to do that by looking in rescue through missing children cases right in your area. So part of this system is bringing in cases that police share every day and understanding geographically specific how you can help your community. And then next, being able to sign up and receive information. So we have the ability to go and see who's missing right now, but this system also, MCSC Rescue also allows you to register your phone number. No personal information, just your number. And that gives police the ability to communicate directly to you. Now, I know there's been a lot of conversation about when and how we communicate about missing children. But I would say this, and I would say it loudly, and I would say it to everybody. Tell me whenever you need to if I can help. Please. Because I want to make sure that not only my children, but your children and my neighbors' children, and that children have what they need from us, have our protection. And so when you sign up and provide your phone number, police in your area will be able to send you information right down to a street corner. And that's why this system is complementary, because it really allows for very specific communication to the people right there when police can use the help. Next. Well, if you have information, and you will have information that you can provide that will help police, and being able to share that information back with them makes all the difference. And you can do that as well. Next. It's important to know that while all of this continues to be developed and enhanced, and there are exciting announcements and you can get involved, and I'm going to tell you the more to come, we want you to know that it's our efforts, the people that have contributed, helped, stand with us every single day, that it's working. We are coming together and we are making a difference. When you saw that over 40,000, what you should know is that our Indigenous children are at greater risk. They face great risk in their communities, and they're overrepresented in that number. And so one of the things that MCSC has done is partnered with one of our local police partners, Lieutenant Nation Police Service, to really be led by and understand from Indigenous community how we can ensure that we are providing support that is relevant and appropriate to their community. In working with Lieutenant Nation Police Service at the end of 2020, they had a case of a missing youth, and that case was immediately viewable in the Child Search Network. It wasn't a case of an Amber Alert, and actually this particular case didn't receive a push notification, but because the community of volunteers that are part of the Child Search Network want to make such a difference, they go in, and we ask them to go in every day and look at those cases. A community member went in, saw her information, and immediately responded to Lieutenant Nation Police with information. And that information helped them to safely find her and bring her back to a place where she didn't face all of the risks that we talked about. We receive calls every single day from across the country, and we, though we are a small but mighty team, we are responding to them. We're providing support to families who, as you can only imagine and empathize, when your child goes missing, you need support until your child is found safely. As well as that, we know the impact of COVID. And one of the questions that I get on a quite regular basis is, if we're not able to leave our homes in many situations now, are there still children going missing? From a national perspective, the reports of missing children have gone down. From the risk perspective, it's increased. And so there is increased risk to children when they're missing now, and we need to find them as quickly again as possible. Next. So we are having quite the opportunity to be able to, because of our technology partners, be able to provide an enhanced channel. So currently there's a way to get involved in rescue, and in a few weeks into February, rescue will be in app stores. And that's going to allow Canadians who like to interact with apps that way to also be a part of rescue. And an exciting opportunity we have through an app deployment is to be able to bring on whole companies. So we're able to take a partner like WestJet. We're one of the WestJet national partners, and when rescue launches, bring every single employee they have into this quite easily. So I want to thank you for this time. I hope that I was able to provide some sharing and information to you that really allows you to make a decision today, which is help us protect kids, help us find missing children faster, help us tell the community and Canadians to get involved. Thank you. And back to you, President John.
Thank you, Amanda. Fascinating. I do have a couple of questions if you have a moment.
Yes.
One, I guess fairly straightforward. What is the percentage of missing children that are Indigenous? Because we're very, very interested in helping, Indigenous, and that would be good to know.
So what I'd like to do is answer in this way, is that I'm able to provide that information back to all of your members, and probably some more comprehensive information around the work that we're doing with our Indigenous children, and a provincial look at the breakdown, if that works.
Okay. Yep. Question: I'm still not 100% clear the difference between this and an Amber Alert.
Yes. So Amber Alerts have a high threshold, high criteria, which has to be met before a police are able to enact the Amber Alert system. And so they need to, an alert, they have to have information, name, description of the child. The child has to have been abducted. I think that's important for everybody to know. And they need description information, vehicle or suspect information. They're issued, as I said, rarely. 1% of the total missing children reported are Amber Alerts. And it is to a large geographical area, as we know. So Amber Alerts are issued to the province, everybody in the province. Again, Amber Alert is a powerful system, and the Child Search Network is complementary. So you won't be receiving a double notification from us. This is a system that you'll find the case information in there about Amber Alerts, but we wouldn't send out an additional alert. And the alerts that you would receive through the Child Search Network would be very specific to your area.
Great. It's good to know the clarification. And, I just couldn't imagine the worst experience for a parent to not know where your child is. And unfortunately at Rotary, because of all the work we do know what awaits for them on the streets. And we will do whatever we can to help, that's for sure. I don't see any other questions. I can't believe it's 40,000 plus kids in Canada. That's a pretty scary thought. I thank you for your work, and it is very important work. A donation has been made in your honor to the Peer Project, Youth Assisting Youth, also known as YAY, a community-based peer mentoring charity that matches high-risk youth with fully trained youth mentors. Youth receive consistent, specialized support and gain the resiliency and skills needed to overcome barriers and succeed in the face of adversity. This donation is made in partnership with the Rotary Club of Toronto's Youth and Children's Service Committee. Thank you again very much. I guess a few words. This is going to be an interesting time. We're back in lockdown, and I hope everyone, number one, follows the rules as best they interpret them. And I think it's hard not to judge. If we see people who we think are flouting the rules or whatever, it's a difficult situation to think about. What do we do? But I think what we can control is what we do. So stay home, only go out when you need to, and check in on people, especially people who are going to be alone or people who you know are not handling or dealing well with this. We need each other's support. Check in with your fellow Rotarians. CJ, I don't know if you read the chats going down, but your friends were making some wonderful, wonderful comments and are so proud and happy for you. So please check those out.
Thank you. I read some of them, yeah.
Good. Next Friday, January the 22nd, as Sylvia's mentioned, is the first of our racism series. Storytelling about lived experiences of racism today. Our guest speakers will be Kenya Singh, Stacia Loft, and Imran Emil. Please feel free to invite guests. However, have them connect with the office in order to be sent to the YouTube line directly. Thank you everyone for attending our meeting today. Have a safe and wonderful weekend. The meeting is adjourned.